Hi creatives, I am Dima and you're welcome to another interesting pattern drafting tutorial. On today's tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how to cut this halter neck underbust dress with a basque. If this sounds like what you're interested in, then you have to stick around till the end. The pinned picture has a style line, but this one that I treated has a sort of gather under the bust, but I am going to teach you how to make both. Yes, I thought it's wise to share with you how to make the one that has a style line and of course the one that has on the bust gather. Let's get right into it. So to do this, I started with a plain paper, just as you can see, and I'm going to draft half of the pattern and then place on another paper to cut it out, just as you would do with a fabric. So what I'm doing here is just to draw a starting line, just as you can see, and then the next is to go ahead and take my shoulder measurement for drafting this pattern divided by 2, and I wrote my vertical line. The next is to take the neckline measurement of 3 by 3, just as you can see. You can as well use 3 1/4 or 3 1/2. So I used my armhole curve to connect this. Now the next is to drop the shoulder by 1 inch. So after dropping by 1 inch, you connect to the neckline just like this, as easy as that. Now the next is to go ahead and take your bust level and the waistline, yes, which is the front half length. I took it at 2 points and I'm ruling a horizontal line across these points. So I had to go ahead and label bust and of course waist. Now the next I did is just to go ahead and take the level of the basque, and what I took here is just 23 inches from the starting line, and I had to draw a line that place. So this is where my basque will be. Yes, I took it at the level I want the basque. So now this is the bust measurement divided by 4, and I had to go ahead and mark 2 points and drew a vertical line, just as you can see. Now I dropped here by 5 inches. I came in by 3/4 and had to go ahead and measure the half of my armhole by ensuring my tape touches the shoulder tip and of course the across chest and where the armhole measurement touches the side. Now the next thing to do is to go ahead and measure the waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch dart intake. Now after this, I had to connect to the side, just as you can see. Now the next is to measure the hip measurement divided by 4, and I had to mark. That is what I measured at the level of this basque, because it's almost at the hip level, which is 7.5 from the waistline. So I connected this to the waist, just as you can see right here. So now the next is to go up here by 3 inches, mark, and then I had to connect to the basque. So now this is the basque, and you can see, and you can agree with me that it is exactly the way it is appearing in the picture. So after that, I will continue with the rest of the pattern making. So watch closely to see what I am doing. I'm going ahead to mark exactly the hip measurement divided by 4 on 2 different points, and I drew a straight line like this to touch the end of the paper. Now this part will be forming the gathered part of this dress. So this is the bust to bust measurement, and I took 1/2 inch on both sides of this on the waistline. I dropped here by 1 inch, and I ensured that it is also at 3 inches from that fold line. Yes, so I had to use this 1 inch drop to draw my dart leg. So this is the underbust that I marked, and I had to draw a short line there. You can as well measure it from the shoulder at neck. So this way is 3/4 and this other way is 1/4, and I connected to the waistline just like this. So after that, the next is to connect this to the bust point, just as you can see, and yeah, I had to shade up this part. So now here I dropped by 1.5 inches and connected to the bust point. This is the difference between the front and the back half length. So after that, I will continue with the rest of the pattern. Pay close attention and you will understand. This is the neck drop, which I used about 7.5 inches. Feel free to drop as much as you want, but we are trying to follow the pattern that's on the pinned picture, the style on the pinned picture, and I connected this to the neckline just as you can see. So now the next is to go ahead and draw this line, and then I measured 1/2 inch upwards and connected. Now this is the neckline contouring because this neck is quite dropped. If you don't contour it, it's going to gape. It's going to like give a gap when you wear it. So now I had to go ahead and label all of those parts. And what I'm doing here is to connect from the neckline to the underbust and then draw this cup-like style on the underbust. So now this is the princess cut. I dropped there by 4 inches and took 1 inch downwards again, and I connected to the bust. And where I'm shedding will be going off at the end of all of this. Okay, now you can see the princess style line already showing on this pattern. So I had to go in there by 1.5. Okay, and then I connected to the armhole like this. Aside what I'm saying, just pay close attention and you understand everything that I am doing. So right here, I had to drop here by 6 inches, and I ensured it's up 3 inches from that fold, which is bust to bust measurement, and I completed my dart leg just like this. So yeah, this is what I have. So this is what I have. Now the next is to go ahead and take this dart straight. If your client has a flat tummy, you can take this dart straight, just as I'm putting the dotted lines. Yes, if your client has a flat tummy, you can do that, and then you add the excess of whatever is there to the side. I'm going to show you. So measure whatever it is here that is added to the dart and put it by the side. Okay, and connect to the waist. Now this is to ensure that you add up for whatever is lost from that area. So after that, this is what I have, and yeah, I'll go ahead and clean up whatever excess I have there. I will make it up when I am cutting the front pattern. Okay, so I'm cleaning up all of these alterations. Yes, I prefer to leave it like this. By the time I am cutting on the final paper, which is assumed to be the fabric, I am going to add this extra. So if your client is on the big side, please make sure that you put this style line and follow the darts. Yes, it will make the dress to fit better. I have tutorials like that on the channel, which I will link in the description box. So the lines I drew now are the slash lines for the gather that will be formed later. So pay close attention. You're going to understand everything I am doing. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and cut out all of this, just as you can see. And then I decided to leave it up and continue with the back pattern and cut all of them out at the same time. So this is a starting point for the back, and I will go ahead and take the shoulder measurement divided by 2 at 2 points, and I drew my vertical line as usual. So after that, the next is to go ahead and measure the neckline 3 by 3, just as you can see. No, 3 by 1. Yeah, 3 by 1 inch. And I connected the neckline. One will say, what am I doing with all of this? But that's fine, you'll understand. I dropped here by 1 inch and I connected to the neckline. Okay, I dropped here by 5 inches. I came in by 1/2 inch. I'll take care of that. I'll use that to draw the armhole later. So what I'm measuring here is the bust measurement divided by 4, and I marked at 2 points and drew my vertical line, just as you can see. So after that, I will go ahead and take the armhole measurement. Yes, that is why I took that measurement earlier. Okay, I marked the half of the armhole, and I'll be using the armhole curve to connect those points. Okay, so now I'm going to drop to the back half length, okay, which is 1.5 inches less than the front half length, and I drew my line. Now this is the back tightening, and from there I measured waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch dart intake. So I had to connect this to the side, just as you can see, and yeah, that's what I have right there. So this is the neckline drop. You can as well make yours to drop there by 1/2 inch. So now I had to draw the 1.5 inches, which you can use to make up the Halter neck for the front, if you want the halter neck to have sort of hook at the back of the neck. So now this is the back drawing, the back neckline drawing, because it's an open back, right? So drop as much as you want. And here I took 1/4 inch, marked my dart of 1 inch, and I'll be connecting it to the 1/4 inch mark I made at the neckline. Yes, this is tightening for contouring the back neckline so that it does not leave a gap. Okay, I don't play with my contour because that is what makes your dress sit right on the body. So now this is the hip line measurement, of course 7.5 inches from the waistline, and I measured the hip divided by 4. Yes, this line is the hip line. I measured the hip divided by 4, and that is exactly what I used here. So I made a mistake on that hip drop there, so I had to correct it at once and clean the other line. Yes, one part I measured 7 inches instead of 7.5 at first, so that is what I just corrected. So now I measured the hip line measurement there. You know, that is the same measurement I took for the front. From the waist to the hem of the front is as well 7.5 inches. Yes, it's exactly the same. I had to go up here by 3 inches, just as I did in front, and drew the basque. Yes, it has a basque both in front and at the back. So this is the back that I want. If you still want, you can use the front basque to draw the one of the back. So now this is the same 6 inches drop for the dart, and I completed my dart just as you can see. I hope this makes sense, but if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments. I will be responding to them. So I completed the back tightening. 1/2 inch back tightening is what I used, and I completed it. And then right now I'll go ahead and cut out this. So this part of the neckline, you can use it if you want your neckline to have a hook. But if you don't want it to have a hook at the back of the neck, please go ahead and just extend the strap, as you're going to see me as we continue in this tutorial. You see me do that as we continue in this tutorial. So you can see that from the waist downward for the back and the front are the same. The difference is from the waist upwards, because the half length for the front is longer than that of the back. I hope this makes sense. So after that, this is what I have, and I will go ahead and draw a style line for the back, just in case you want to put a style line at the back to complement the front. Feel free to do that. Just be creative, okay? So now you can either close up the dart, just as I am doing now, or you can cut it open and cut the back in 2 pieces on your fabric. Yes, feel free to do what you like. Okay, so this is the style line I drew, just in case you want, but I did not use it. I did not cut it through. But if you want to be extra, you can do that. You can cut it through, but remember to add your seam allowances as you cut everything to pieces, and sure to put your seam allowances to use and join all of the pieces together, 1/2 inch seam allowances. I hope this makes sense. So after this, I will go ahead and cut out the front. This is the underbust cord, and yes, this is the dart for the front. And of course, you can take it straight like this, just as I illustrated earlier. Okay, I'm folding it in. While cutting, finally I will add the 1 inch extra that was taken out from the lower part of the dart. The same thing I illustrated while drafting the pattern. But please, if your client is on the big side, don't do this. It's better it has that style line on this midriff. Yes, cut it to pieces in that front and ensure to leave that line, because it will fit your client better if the person is on the big side with a sort of big tummy. Okay, so now you can see that I'm closing up all of this dart, all of this contour and the style line. So this is the neckline contour, and of course this is the armhole tightening so that it does not leave a space on the armhole. But then if you want your own to have a style line, this is the time to cut open this princess dart style line. I hope this makes sense. This is the time to cut open this princess dart style line. You're not going to close it up as I closed it up now. Just remove your dart and leave it in 2 pieces. Also close your side bust darts. I hope this makes sense. This princess style line should be cut open. should be cut open. Yes, you remove your that and it will be in two pieces if you want yours to have a style line just as in the pinned picture. I hope this makes sense, okay? But I had to leave it like this because I want to create, sort of gather on the underbust. I just want to use the same tutorial to, illustrate two styles, two ways you can do this underbust thing. I hope this makes sense. It will still curve, it will still come out nice. It depends on the one that you prefer. Okay, so right now this is how I shaped the underbust and then cut out. So of course, if you are cutting your princess style line, you're going to cut out this dart that is on the bust. You're going to cut it out and also leave it in two pieces of the pattern. Yes, that will be joined together. Of course, you use your seam allowances while cutting finally on your paper. So this is the midriff and I am going to cut it out right now. So I had to pin it down and cut it out. Now something happened here. While cutting this, I'm supposed to add 1 inch by the side. Yes, by the side. I'm supposed to add 1 inch here right now and connect to the waist. So just as I illustrated during the pattern making, but I missed it. I forgot, but I corrected it as we progress in this pattern drafting. But at this stage, this is where you're going to connect it, or better still, leave it, connect it, do it while on pattern. Really, I think I don't even know why I cleaned it while doing that pattern drafting. There is no need. You can actually do all of that. If you are certain your client has a flat tummy, you can, or the tummy is not too big, or even if it's someone that has a little bit of tummy, yes, you can use this style, it will work. But if the person has tummy, please make sure that you cut this midriff open and let it be in pieces. It will fit better because it will take care of all of that and of course the tummy bulge. I hope this makes sense. So now this is how to fix this. Okay, so more like I am trying to fix it. You know that is on paper. If it's on fabric, you are going to add your seam allowances and of course join it together, form your girder and join it. If you have a style line, of course you join the style line before joining it to the midriff. The midriff is this middle part that has a basque cut. Okay, so now this is the back. You can just really join it to the front, just as you can see. Then what I'm trying to do now is to add the extra 1 inch that I omitted while cutting out on the second paper. So I'm just adding extra paper, joining extra paper to the side so that I can add up the 1 inch that we missed to the hem of the top. So keep the style, the neckline. Oh god, the neckline is looking so perfect. So the line that I'm drawing now is just the line of the original pattern, and from here I'll be taking 1 inch. Yes, I'll measure 1 inch like this and then connect to the waistline, just as you can see. So I'll also add 1 inch this other way and connect to the waistline as well. So this was exactly what I did while drafting the pattern. I don't even know why I cleaned it. So please, if you are certain of course you will know exactly how the shape of your client is and know the style to use. Okay, so you can do this exactly while cutting on pattern. I've illustrated all, but if your client has tummy, please make sure you leave the style lines of the darts on this midriff. Please peep the neckline and how beautiful it is. So now this is the back and I am going to cut it out. I'm going to fold paper. Of course, you know that this paper I folded is the same with folding your fabric. So you're going to fold it like this and then go ahead and cut out. So this is me pinning everything down and then I'll go ahead and cut it out. Please, you can cut this back pattern into 2 pieces and leave a style line at that middle. Yes, you can do that. Cut out your dart and leave it in 2 parts. Just add your seam allowances to be able to join it together. That is also perfect. And it works best if it's for somebody that has body. It works for everybody, but especially somebody that is on the big side. You must ensure to leave the style lines so that there won't be any issue with the feet. I hope this makes sense. So now this is the back. I've gone ahead to stick everything together, and this of course is the zipper allowance. So ensure to put your zipper allowance here while cutting on fabric. 1 inch zipper allowance or 1/4 inches zipper allowance. And this is how you're going to join it to the front pattern. Of course, you join it to the side with the side seam allowance, of course. So after that, this is what the front looks like. Look at this neckline. Like, I can't stop admiring this neckline. How perfect is it? It is. And of course, the armhole and the cups are looking very perfect. So now you can see what I have here is paper unfold, and I will go ahead and make the gather part. Please, this part can be as long as you wish. You know, this is an illustration, and that is why it is looking short. It can be a long dress, just as our pinned picture is, okay? And it's the same method. It's exactly the same method. So what I'm doing here is to spread. So ensure to spread. If the space between the slash lines is like 2 inches and you want to have a very full gather, ensure to make the spread to be like 3 inches or even 3.5 to 4 inches if you want your gather to be very full. Yes. So now this is what I have. I have gone ahead to spread it, and then I am connecting. You can see how I'm connecting. Aside what I'm saying, please pay close attention to what I am doing. So by this side, I'm going to add extra of about 1 inch to complement everything that I did by the side of the midriff. Okay, though the gather will take care of everything, but I just thought to do that so that it does not affect my gather for any reason. So now this is what I have, and if you're putting it to the back, you add zipper allowance at that fold, okay, to match up the back part. But you don't even need to do that, right? Because the basque will take care of the zipper. So exactly this will take care of the back, because the zipper getting to this basque is enough. You will comfortably wear your clothes. You don't even need that zipper allowance on this gathered part, even at the back. Yes, because the back is basque shape and it will definitely take care of the zipper. I hope you understand what I mean, okay? So now what I'm doing is just to form my gather and tape it down. Of course, if you're working with fabric, you're going to put your zipper and your seam allowance on that gather part. Okay, I like making seamless patterns so that when you're cutting, you know you're adding your seam allowances. But if you're not used to this, you can add your seam allowances while drafting your pattern. I don't like doing that. I like adding after drafting my patterns. So see how perfect it is looking. This can be as long as you wish. Trust me, you can make it to be as long as you wish. This is just an illustration. Of course, the lower part can be as long as you want it. Mid, short, or maxi, anyhow you want it. So this is what I have at the end of the day. You can agree with me that this is gorgeous. Just look at that neckline. Look at the underbust. Look at the armhole. I don't need to say so much that this will definitely be a perfect fit. Try it out and let me know what your results are. If you've not subscribed to my channel up to this stage, you have watched up to this stage and you've not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Here on the channel, I share lots of pattern drafting and of course sewing tutorial videos that you will definitely be learning from. Even if you are an advanced designer, you have something to learn from this channel, trust me. So you can see how beautiful this is looking. This is so gorgeous. The next is to just go ahead and add the extra. That is what will form the halter neck. Just go ahead and cut your strip of fabric and join to the shoulder line, just as you can see. And this forms the halter neckline that will be tied at the back of the neck. But if you want yours to have a sort of hook, I'll put a link in the description to, I think I've treated something like that on this channel. I will check and put the link in the description box so that you can watch what you can do if you want to have a sort of hook at the back of your neck and not lace up like this. Okay, thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for always stopping by to watch my videos. I do not take any of this for granted. So you can see what we have at the end of the day. Please try it out. I want you to try it and tell me what your results are. I'll really be glad to hear from you. Thanks, guys, for always stopping by to watch my videos. I love you all, and of course I will see you in my next video. Bye.